Nintendo, good job. Seriously, good job. That was a great E3 showing. I mean, despite it only being 25 minutes, this just might be the best E3, or one of the best E3 directs you've ever done. Probably only second to 2014, where you got the Robot Chicken cast to go in and kind of make fun of all your franchises. So why was this such a good E3 presentation for Nintendo? Well, first off, it was paced incredibly well. Nintendo did none of that fluff that they normally did. The closest they got was they spent a few minutes talking about Pokemon, but they at least announced in the middle of that they're working on a new mainline series game for the Switch in the middle of that chatter, and it wasn't that long. It was only a few minutes, so, you know, that was good. Another thing is, it was pretty much game after game after game. I mean, in terms of quantity, they certainly didn't announce as much as... Well, Sony didn't really announce anything, because everything they showed off was freaking already seen before. They didn't announce any, like, as many new things as Microsoft did. New things. Actual new things. But what they did show off was either more details for games we've been hyping up, or actual new things. First off, they actually, like, they started with a little bit of a sizzle reel of games that were coming out. Like, they showed off Splatoon 2, ARMS, Pokken DX, and they confirmed Rocket League is actually coming to the Switch, so no wonder the Rocket League developers were being so vague about it, because it was coming, they just couldn't say anything. And it's going to get exclusive modes and all that good stuff, and it's going to have crossplay with the other platforms, which is awesome. So, yeah, Rocket League belongs on a system like that. I'm glad it's getting it. They opened the freaking conference after that sizzle reel with Xenoblade 2. Reggie spoke for a few minutes. We thought when he said Odyssey that they... Like, my initial thought when he said Odyssey was that he was just going to start with Mario Odyssey, we were going to see that, and maybe a few other games. No, that's not what happened. It started with Xenoblade 2. And if you've seen on my Twitter and in previous videos of mine, I am hyping Xenoblade 2 like no tomorrow. I mean, Zelda Breath of the Wild was pretty much my main open-world fantasy game on the system, but Xenoblade 2 is coming out soon, and... First off, all those people that were saying it's not going to make 2017, it's coming out holiday 2017. Mario Odyssey is not the major holiday title. It's actually coming out in October, which is interesting. But we're getting Xenoblade 2 in 2017, and that right there is going to be the next major open-world fantasy game on the Switch. I don't know if it's going to sell like gangbusters like Zelda did, but just like the previous Xenoblade games, this game is going to be absolutely incredible. Definitely better than X. You can tell just based on the trailer that it's going to be way more character and story focused than X was. X was more of a spin-off than anything. It's going to be, what I can tell, it's going to pretty much be continuing on where the first game left off. And I'm not going to spoil anything beyond that because the first game was crazy when it got towards the end there. The first game was my second favorite open-world fantasy game behind Zelda. So look forward to Xenoblade 2. Don't sleep on that. It's going to be really good. And then... they announced the big gun. They announced it. They didn't show anything, but they let us know that it was coming. Metroid Prime 4 is coming to the Switch. They are developing a new Metroid Prime game. This is something that we've been just wondering when they were going to mention it, when it was going to happen, and here it is. It was just acknowledged to us. They just said it's in development for Switch, that showed it real quick, and then just went on to the next game. I'm okay with that. But just the fact that they announced it, they knew that if they just mentioned Metroid... that they were going to completely shit-stomp the other two of the big three. Metroid alone is going to draw a lot of long-time fans who have been sleeping on Nintendo. If it's a good game when it comes out, it is going to draw a lot of people to the system that have been sleeping on Nintendo systems for a long time. So I'm very happy that Metroid Prime 4 was announced. That's great. They spent some time on the Zelda DLCs. I am looking forward to that Trial of the Sword and the Hero's Path mode. That stuff looks pretty neat, and it also introduces new armor, but what I'm really looking forward to is that Hero's Legacy update, or whatever. You see, my brain's going too crazy right now that I kind of forgot what it was called, but it's kind of like a new story mode, and as much as I really do like new mini-games and side quests and stuff, I love when games expand on the main story. For example, Watch Dogs 2. Obviously, the game's nowhere near as good as Zelda, but I was super happy when that Human Conditions DLC came out and all those extra story modes. I blew through that story mode and I wanted more, and I got more for like $15 to get like several hours more worth of content. I was happy, and they're doing the same thing with Zelda. $20 gets you those 2 DLC packs. I'll be definitely picking that up for sure. And then they showed off, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe, like, Miyamoto wasn't joking when he said that Mario Odyssey was going to be to Mario what Breath of the Wild was to Zelda, where it's going to be basically a completely different game. Like, it's still Mario, you get that amazing platforming, but just to kind of, like, the message that's sent to us on how different it's going to be is that the theme song of the game is a lyrical theme song. Like, there's actually somebody singing lyrics about being in a Mario game, and it's totally not cheesy. It's awesome. It's this amazing, like, jazzy show tune piece about jumping through a Mario world, and it's awesome. You have to watch the trailer to believe me. And just like MatPat brought up in Game Theory about, like, you know, the fact that Donkey Kong's going to be kind of a focus, at least of the main series, New Donk City, Pauline's coming back. Peach is going to be there too, but Pauline's going to be there. I'm interested, and that game comes out on October 27th, so it's not going to get in the way of Xenoblade 2 if that's going to be like a holiday title. That's great. And plus, Breath of the Wild DLC, summer and holiday. So, Nintendo basically announced a shit ton of stuff that was coming out in recent. Like, not too much out-of-the-way stuff. Pokemon and Metroid were pretty much the out-of-the-way stuff that's going to be in the future. But they basically let us know that, hey, if you're a Switch owner, your holidays are covered. There's a lot of stuff coming out. You have stuff to look forward to. Sony didn't exactly do that, and Microsoft, their stuff wasn't not a lot of their stuff was exactly worth looking forward to. But remember what I said about Super Lucky's Tale was going to get shit-stomped by Mario Odyssey? Yeah, I wasn't wrong. It's going to get shit-stomped, just as we expected. Although I'm still going to buy Super Lucky's Tale day one. Any platformers, I'm okay with. Any platform, I'm okay with that. They elaborated on Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle a little bit, but because Ubisoft showed that off at their conference, of course they didn't spend too much time on it. Like I said, the pacing was really good. They spent just enough time on each game that, like, if it's something we already knew about, they didn't spend too much time on it. If it was something that they knew was going to be hyped up, like Mario Odyssey or Xenoblade 2, they gave us, like, a full-fledged trailer. Not too much fluff. I'm impressed with the way they paced it out. And they did announce a new Kirby game, a new Yoshi game. Solid games, you know, for the kids, or even for like the super casual players who like those basic platformers. Those will be solid. All the games in the series are. I will admit that I kind of skipped through those parts because I was too hyped up for the other stuff that was coming in. I don't really buy those games. So yeah, overall for a 25-minute presentation, I would say that Nintendo's was great. I mean, if Microsoft was good and Sony was meh, I mean, I know I said good yesterday, but Sony's was more of a meh. I'd say Nintendo's was great. It was definitely even better than Ubisoft's, and Ubisoft had a great presentation this year. I'd say Nintendo was one of the best. But if you're counting, like, traditional presentations, then yeah, I think Ubisoft is probably the best one. So yeah, it's only 25 minutes long. It's not an hour and a half like Microsoft. It's not an hour like Sony. Go ahead and watch the Nintendo conference. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you watch it. I definitely am looking forward to the holiday of the Switch and the future of the system, and I kind of like the way they're doing this, where E3 gives us basically some glimpses into the future to kind of get us excited, but it mostly just focuses on what's coming out in the holiday so we know exactly what we're getting, especially with the Switch being as new as it is. People want to know exactly what's coming to the system and what they can expect soon if they buy the system soon. And that's what they did. They accomplished it well. We got all of our game elaborations and announcements. It's solid, and I think they did a good job, despite the fact that just like Microsoft and Sony, they showed stuff we already knew about. They actually expanded on those games in meaningful ways and showed us release dates and other stuff that was actually meaningful to show those games off again. And they still dropped bombshells like Metroid Prime 4 and, of course, a new main series Pokemon game. They didn't announce Animal Crossing, but I said it on Twitter multiple times that they weren't going to do it this year at E3. It's not going to happen. If Animal Crossing's coming to the Switch, we're going to probably see it next year's E3. As much as I love that series, they can take their time on that game. I don't want it to be another City Folk where it's basically just a clone of the previous handheld game with slightly enhanced features. I see people saying they want a freaking New Leaf port for the Switch, or an enhanced port. No. Like, if they do that, that's stupid, and if you want it, you're stupid. Anyways, sorry about that. I may seem not as energetic, but I'm not even out of my work clothes yet. I'm sitting back with my feet up in my chair here, and I just got done watching it because I just couldn't wait from when I got home from work to watch this. Yeah, so finally I can break my social media blackout for the day. I'm going to go check Twitter while I'm uploading this video. Thank you so much for watching, and you all have a great day. I'll see you next time.